companies 3M and DuPont. The lawsuits seek damages to the state of Michigan caused by the toxic chemicals linked to cancer. The state says the defendants deliberately concealed the dangers of PFAS and knowingly contaminated natural resources and exposed people to them. The new lawsuits come after Wolverine Worldwide in Kent County was ordered to pay almost $70 million for their role in the PFAS contamination.
It is now against the law to vape in public areas in Ottawa County. The Board of Commissioners gave their final approval for the ordinance today. The vaping ban is basically an add-on to current smoking regulations. It applies to all county-owned properties and buildings, but parks are not included. The goal is to reduce the risk of second and third-hand smoke. Anybody caught vaping in prohibited areas will be subject to warnings and also fines.
A fraud investigation tonight into a company tasked with certifying breathalyzer machines. It's raising a lot of legal questions here in Michigan.
State police have suspended the use of those devices, but a local defense attorney says it could lead to hundreds of appeals and clog up the court system. Annie Satowski live in the newsroom with more on what he had to say. Annie?
Yeah, Doug, Janice, these machines are not the ones used in a roadside test, but rather the ones used at jails and police stations. It's those measurements that are then used in court, which is why attorney Ed Sternisha, says it's so important that they're accurate, something he's now unsure of.
This machine can break down too. It can be inaccurate. Maybe it's off a little. And when we're concerned about maybe putting someone in jail or someone in prison, we want this machine to work right.
Defense attorney Ed Sternisha talking about the growing concerns surrounding the breathalyzer machines used by jails and police stations statewide. The Data Master DMT could help determine the fate of an alleged drunk driver, which is why Michigan State Police are responsible for regularly checking their accuracy.
They hired that company to go around to the 200 and something places where these are to do these, because every 120 days, it's in the administrative rules, it must be checked.
Intoximeters, an independent contractor, was hired to handle that task. But after some performance issues, state police started digging deeper, announcing Monday they're suspending the use of the Data Masters as they investigate possible fraud.
I had a couple reactions because first I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be huge. This is going to clog the courts. Then I thought, what about my clients?
MSP says they have found discrepancies in the certification records, including the possibility of some of them may have been falsified. They've notified prosecutors in those impacted areas. Police also say they don't believe those discrepancies affected the results of the test, but Sternisha has questions.
And if they find him in some agencies, the same person inspected this one that my client has, even if they say, well, that one was done right. This he hasn't been convicted yet, but they're looking at him for falsifying records and fraud. Really, how can we trust anything he did, right?
Sternisha says he's already put at least one case on hold as he looks into the issue.
I had someone who was going to plead, but now we have reason to doubt the accuracy of the test he took. And so I now have to go through and investigate to find out, really, do we have an issue here?
But he's more concerned about the people already convicted.
This is going to be across the entire state of Michigan. All I do is drunk driving cases. Every one of my clients, unless they did a blood test, every one of my clients may be affected by this. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of appeals on people who've already been convicted.
State police say they're still investigating and are looking at possible criminal charges if they find anyone was forging records. But Sternisha says that won't prevent the damage that's already been done.
If the people who are certifying them as working properly are falsifying records, can anybody rely on it?
Now, Data Masters have been taken out of use for the time being, meaning all DUI cases will require a blood test. But Sternisha says that opens up a whole new problem because of all those blood samples that will have to go to the State Police Crime Lab to be tested. It's creating another potential backlog. Live in the newsroom, Annie Satowski, Fox 17 News.
All right, thanks, Annie. 60 people were hit with jet fuel as it fell from the sky today in Los Angeles. Students and teachers at 6 schools were affected. 20 kids and 11 adults treated for minor injuries. The children were outside on the playground when this all happened. The FAA confirmed that a Delta flight headed for China experienced an engine emergency soon after takeoff and returned to the airport. Delta released a statement saying that the fuel was dropped to reduce the plane's landing weight. Well, together, experts and law enforcement are raising awareness here locally about sex trafficking in Grand Rapids. They held an event tonight. January is National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Community leaders want everyone to know the warning signs of trafficking, like physical abuse, a new group of friends, sexualized behavior, or being withdrawn and depressed. Tonight's event, held at the Kroc Center, included videos of survivors of sex trafficking and panelists who were answering questions people may have had.
I can say that in 2019, well, toward the end of 2019, we had a pretty significant case that we investigated without going into details. But it's things people don't know about. So it is occurring in our community.
Law enforcement said tonight that they take these cases very seriously, but it can be tough to prosecute because, for various reasons, a lot of times victims don't want to cooperate with police investigations.
Packed house tonight at the Kalamazoo Planning Commission meeting.
Now, all over a potential development near a lake and a nature preserve. Fox 17's Julie Dunmire is live in Kalamazoo with more on how that meeting is going. Julie?
Doug and Janice, I want to show you inside Commission chambers here. Public comment still going. And what is this all about? This is about Asylum Lake. It's a nature preserve at the corner of Stadium and Drake in Kalamazoo. Now, a developer has gone ahead and requested to redo the zoning for his property at the corner of Stadium and Drake. That is adjacent to the nature preserve for Asylum Lake. Now, the issue with this is that people are saying the developer should not be able to go ahead and build on this location because of its proximity to the lake. The developer says that he bought the property with the impression that he would be able to go ahead and build commercially on this property in accordance with Kalamazoo City's master plan. The developer says that he intends to build a car wash at that location, that drawing more concern from people for the environmental impacts with it being so close to the lake. The developer assuring that he would do everything he could to be responsible with the water there. But again, a lot of concerns to be heard tonight.
If you're in support of this, snap. If you're not in support of this, snap.
I am appalled by the very idea of this rezoning request being seriously considered.
This is not what the public wants. We've heard from the developer that this is consistent with the public's opinions.
And the public here tonight saying that this is not, again, in accordance with what they want. About 200 people have been here. We're still in the public comment portion of this meeting. And for reference, it started around 7 o'clock. So we're well into hour 3 here tonight of people expressing their concerns. I haven't yet to hear anybody in support of the developer here this evening. Now, it's important to know that this is still just a preliminary portion of this process. After this, it will go up to the City Commission, after the Planning Commission's decision tonight, and the City Commission will then have their say. For now, live in Kalamazoo, Julie Dunmire, Fox 17 News.
All right, thank you, Julie. A local salon goes out of business with no warning.
Yeah, certainly not good if you bought a gift card beforehand, like several people who reached out to the Fox 17 problem solvers, but they uncovered about getting a refund.
He's 104 years old. He fought in World War II, and now he's asking for something very, very simple, the Valentine's Day request that you can actually help him out with.
And big erosion concerns continuing along the Lakeshore, but one woman lost to the high water levels. Still ahead tonight.
You're watching Fox 17 News.
Welcome back. A local salon is accused of shutting down with little notice despite continuing to sell gift cards right up until the very end.
A couple of women reached out to the Fox 17 problem solvers about this. Darren Cunningham has what he uncovered tonight.
Basically, I have a $150 gift card that nobody can use because the salon's not even open anymore.
The doors are locked, the lights are off, and the inside is cleared out at the J Salon, a boutique once located at Knapp's Corner in Grand Rapids up until December 28th. Jessica Camps says it was her mother's favorite salon, so she bought her a $150 gift card on December 13th. And gave it to her for Christmas.
She goes, "Oh, did you know?" And I said, "What?" She goes, "They closed."
She learned her mother just happened to visit the salon days before Christmas, and her stylist told her of the impending closure.
My mom even said when she was there, after she was told, you know, this is the last time we'll be able to do your hair here, the receptionist was still even trying to sell gift cards.
An announcement of the closure didn't hit the salon's Facebook page until December 28th, the same day it closed.
It was frustration. It was frustration knowing that I had spent $150 for Christmas, and that was kind of the big thing that I was doing for her, something special.
She's not alone. Below the Facebook announcement, a number of angry comments from people in the same camp.
I've seen other posts that nobody's responded to anybody else's calls, emails. I haven't heard anything.
So camps reached out to the Fox 17 problem solvers for help. I called and left messages for the owners, Kurt and Renee Tellman. Camp says she's looking for an explanation on why things were handled this way.
I'm kind of out $150, which for a single mom is a hard thing to, you know, stomach in general, especially around the holidays. There's plenty of ways that you can go about, you know, taking the higher road when you're necessarily not willing to admit that you failed in what you're doing. And, you know, it's money that you're stealing from people around the holidays, and that's simply just not okay.
In Grand Rapids, Darren Cunningham, Fox 17 News.
Well, Darren did get a hold of one of the owners, Kurt Tellman. He said he was filing for bankruptcy and referred him to his lawyer. If you did buy a gift card with a credit card, you can try to dispute the charge, or you can report that company to the Attorney General's office, hoping that they will be able to then force the owners to honor those gift cards. A pedestrian was hit and killed in Van Buren County last night. State police say a driver was heading north on 39th Street near Burgess in Decatur when they hit 33-year-old Devin Mattis. It's not clear why he was in the road.
A woman has pleaded guilty to a charge connected to the death of her own mother, who was found buried outside of their home in Calhoun County. Marcia Lutz on Monday admitted to concealing the death of an individual. In exchange for her plea, a misdemeanor for failing to report the discovery of a dead body was dismissed. The body of 74-year-old Phyllis Lutz was found last January after Michigan State Police were called to do a welfare check. Her body was wrapped in blankets and placed in a deep hole that was being used as a burn pit. A sentencing hearing is scheduled for later this month.
Still ahead, a 104-year-old World War II veteran has just one wish for Valentine's Day.
It's kept me busy. I'm just trying to locate and keep track of what's happened to me, where, when.
And as he keeps writing his life story, the simple request he's asking for from complete strangers, even you.
We're expecting to see some rain and snow showers in here tomorrow afternoon. That won't amount to a whole lot, but this next system, here's the weather map Saturday morning at 6 a.m. A much bigger system with a lot more snow, a lot more rain potential, and some wind. We'll talk about both of these systems coming up in just a bit.
A World War II veteran in California has just one wish for Valentine's Day. He wants as many people as possible, including complete strangers, to send him a card.
This is sweet. He says those cards will be part of his long personal story, whose final chapters are yet to be written. Reporter Bridget Borlow has more tonight.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
Major Bill White still wears the same dress blues made in the 1950s when he proudly served in the United States Marine Corps.
First to fight for right and freedom. Spent 30 years active duty and 54 retired. We are proud to claim the title of the United States Marine.
Among his many medals is one he's most proud of, the Purple Heart, a badge of honor for surviving the Battle of Iwo Jima.
The fact that I even survived is something. There weren't too many of us.
On March 3, 1945, Major White led his Marines toward the front lines under heavy fire from the Japanese.
When I was wounded, I didn't have any choice of. I had a grenade blow up in about 6 inches from me.
His injuries may have taken him off the battlefield, but his fighting spirit carried on in life.
Oh, I'm still here. 104. Can't complain.
At 104, the California native spends his days dining with his friends in Stockton, staying active, and scrapbooking in what's become one of his favorite hobbies. He keeps a lifetime full of memories carefully preserved on these bookshelves in his room, each organized by year.
It's kept me busy. I'm just trying to locate and keep track of what's happened to me, where, when.
And this Valentine's Day, Major White is hoping to add to his collection with cards from people near and far.
I'll save every one of them. Like I've been saving little things that come up right now, and they'll be a personal part of my history.
A life story that's still being written. The secret?
Just keep breathing. That's I can't think of anything else. I can give you all sorts of ideas and suggestions, but if you're not breathing, they don't mean anything.
And keep turning the page to the next chapter.
Maybe ever look on heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by the United States Marines. Period.
Certainly appreciate all of his service. That was Bridget Borlow reporting. If you'd like to send him a card, here is his address at 6725 Inglewood Avenue, Stockton, California, 95207. I have a feeling he might be flooded with one or two.
That's it. He promised to read them all, so we're going to hold him to it. But, you know, such a simple thing for a guy who gave quite a bit.
Absolutely. What a great story. Still ahead here, a family in South Haven is now feeling the devastation of widespread erosion firsthand.
Now watch this, the Fox 17 Skyview drone footage that shows just how close the erosion is creeping and their new strategy for stopping it.
And that gentleman, that Marine, reminds me of my dad. Very, very proud of the fact they were servicemen. So thanks to him for his service as well. My dad was in the Navy, by the way. Hey, as we look at the wake-up weather for tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy to variably cloudy skies. Temperatures around 30 degrees. Dry for the morning commute, but then rain and snow move in by the afternoon. We'll talk more about that and the next biggest system coming in for the weekend up next.
This week's rain, snow, and wind continuing the erosion problems along the Lake Michigan shoreline.
And some residents are not waiting for anyone else's help. Our Lauren Edwards has a look at the damage and where it leaves them now.
I have never seen it this bad, you know, and I grew up in Pawpaw, and even as a kid used to come over here, but this has been awful.
Sandra Haga, a resident in the South Haven area for 30 years, shocked at how bad the erosion is along Lake Michigan.
The stairs are out, and it's the second time that they have rebuilt the stairs, and now with the erosion comes right up to the main corner of the deck here.
These stairs at Casco County Township Park gone, just like the trees and bluffs above it.
What I have heard is that probably at least anywhere from 10 to 20 feet has slid down the hill, and it's still going.
From Fox 17 Skyview, you can see the devastation spanning several miles along the shoreline in South Haven.
People are losing houses, they're losing all kinds of different things. It's beautiful and it's powerful, but it's still very, you know, devastating.
Which is why Haga wants to take action.